Yeah. Today we are going to start, the next topic. You have the book. Please keep both the book with you, right? The typed and the handwritten both, so that we can coordinate easily, and we can go through the chapter very easily. Here, the topic number fifth, which talks about the, the principal organs of the union government, right? Like executive, legislature, and Supreme Court. Similarly, we need to study the principal organ of a state government. Right, again here, the executive, legislature, and the High Court. That we need to study. Right? So basically, we need to study government. बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर रह गया? हाँ, कल तो करवा दिया था ना बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर. देखिए, वो समझा दिया था, उसमें से आपको बुक्स के हिसाब से चलना है. Here, right? Now every government has three branch. It has executive. जो ऑलरेडी लिखा हुआ है इसको डुप्लीकेशन करके क्या करना, राइट? एग्जीक्यूटिव, लेजिस्लेचर, and judiciary. Executive, legislature, and judiciary. You have examination on this Saturday, right? On Indian politics. I hope you are revising. हाँ, जो भी पढ़ाया है टॉपिक नंबर 3 तक, राइट? आज थर्सडे है ना, वेडनेसडे, या इसमें से भी पूछ सकता हूँ, राइट? हाय नीलेश, गुड मॉर्निंग. आई होप यू आर गुड.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
In India, there are 3 tiers of government, right? The union government, you have union government, right? Similarly, you have a state government, and each government has executive, legislature, and judiciary. Similarly, you have a local government. वहाँ पर भी है, right? वहाँ पर भी ग्राम न्यायालय है, it's called judiciary, right? Where there is also, a legislature, like Gram Sabha is called a legislature, right? And the Panchayat Samiti works as a executive. Right. Now we will study executive at the center. Why? Union executive. Now if you look at the union executive, consists of whom? The president, right? Then the vice president, and the council of ministers. Headed by the PM. Council of ministers is always headed by PM. Right? And then there is the Attorney General of India. Attorney General of India. These are the union executive. Fine. Now, if you look at, we have opted parliamentary form of government. What form of government we have? Parliamentary form of government. Right? Now, in the parliamentary form of government, who is the real head of the government? The Prime Minister. Right? The Prime Minister is a real head of the government, and where the President has nominal, the figurehead. That is ceremonial figurehead of the country, or nominal head. Right? But there was a controversy right, in the Constituent Assembly, whether he or she have real power or not. So थोड़ा सा executive के बारे में लिखिए तो. Then I'll come to the president, and then I'll come to the vice president, and then we'll talk about the PM, and then lastly I'll talk about council of minister. अच्छा, council of minister को किसी को है confusion? council of minister कौन होता है? council of minister are group of ministers basically. 40-50 लोगों का जो मिनिस्ट्री है सरकार में अभी बीजेपी के टाइम पे, उसको बोलते हैं काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर, राइट. इट इंक्लूड्स द COM. काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर इंक्लूड्स कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर. हम कहते हैं कन्वेंशन से कैबिनेट, ये डिफाइन नहीं है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में बस यही डिफाइंड है, काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर headed by the PM, right. So always council of minister is like 40 to 60 भी हो सकता है, right. And cabinet minister होता है, और कौन होता है? deputy minister, then minister of state, right. So each ministry has a minister of state. For example, you have finance minister, right. Then you have finance minister for state of state. मतलब वो भी जूनियर होता है, स्टेट का फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर नहीं होता है, इन्हीं का जूनियर होता है ये कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर का. फाइन. And then one is called Ministry of State Independent Charges. Ministry of State Independent Charges. ये इंडिपेंडेंट चार्जेज वालों के पास, मतलब एक मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट होता है इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज, इनके पास कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर नहीं होती है, राइट. इफ यू सी with each cabinet minister there is a deputy minister and the minister of state. Here there is no system. There is only few minister. अभी 2 मिनिस्ट्री है जिसको ये चार्ज मिला हुआ है, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्जेस. So if you look at the council of ministers, consists this variety of ministers, right. And सबका दादा कौन होता है? Even the cabinet is headed by PM, the prime minister. That is council of minister, I hope, right. ठीक है. Yeah, hi Tai. All well, Tai? Yeah. Now write something about, the executive. Right. Like the Indian Constitution recognizes 3 branches of democratic government in India. The Constitution recognizes 3 branches of democratic government. Right. The Constitution recognizes 3 branches of democratic government. Of India hyphen executive, the parliament, which is a legislature, right? Executive, legislature, parliament, and the judiciary. The judiciary, right? Within the executive branch, of government, within the executive branch of government, comma, it includes or it consists, yeah, the president, vice president, the council of minister, headed by the PM, the Prime Minister, and Attorney General of India. अटॉर्नी जनरल लॉयर होता है सरकार का, है ना? Yeah. So the constitution recognizes three branches of democratic government in India or of India: executive, parliament, and judiciary. Within the executive branch, it consists or it includes the president, the vice president, the council of ministers, right, headed by the PM, and the attorney general of India, right? Article 53 says that Article 53 says that the president shall be head of the union executive. The president shall be the president shall be the president shall be the head of the executive. The president shall be head of the executive and he shall exercise executive power and he shall exercise executive power, right? Executive power directly or with the help of his subordinate officer. With the help of his subordinate officer. Right? Right? However, अच्छा, तो ये हमारा आर्टिकल 53 क्या कहता है? आर्टिकल 52 कहता है there shall be the president of India. आर्टिकल 53 क्या कहता है? It says that the president shall be the head of the union executive और यहाँ पर union जोड़ देना, union executive, and he shall exercise executive power directly or with help of his subordinate officer, right? In accordance with the constitution. ये भी लिख दीजिए, in accordance with the constitution. समझ में आया? ये कहता है आर्टिकल 53. देखिए, however Article 74 clause 1, Article 74, not 17. Article 74 clause 1 says that there shall be a council of ministers. says that there shall be a council of ministers council of ministers headed by the PM to aid and advise advise the president who shall act in accordance with such advice. Now look at Article 53, which says that वो क्या कहता है कि the president shall be the head of the union executive and he shall exercise power directly. ठीक है, क्लियर कहता है कि he is the head of the union and he will exercise power directly or with the help of his subordinate officer according to the constitution. Now Article 74 कहता है कि there shall be a council of ministers headed by PM, to advise the president, right, who shall act according to such advice. It is not ambiguity. It is ambiguity, right? Look at there have been many presidents who asserted, especially the first president Rajendra Prasad, who asserted कि अरे संविधान तो मुझे पूरा पावर देता है, right, and he took advice from jurists, legal expert, constitutional expert of his time, right? Even in the first parliament, many parliamentarian, advocated that make a committee to interrogate or examine the power and functions of the president, right? Because what happens, the president asserted power. Why it is so? Because there's some vague statement. Look at the Article 53 and 74(1).
According to the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, but this is not defining the functions of cabinet ministers in the constitution.
नहीं, कैबिनेट में कोई डिफाइन नहीं है कैबिनेट का. Constitution does not define cabinet. There are many things that has not been defined in constitution, but it comes through the conventions, right? Conventions of the parliamentary democracy, right? Acha, you got the idea? Now, there is a problem. Now, constitution is vague in defining the constitutional position, right? Change the paragraph and write. The constitution is little vague. Right? In defining the constitutional position of the president. In relation to his council of ministers. Right? There had been many presidents. There have been many president who asserted that he can he is the head of the government, head of the government, hence can decide, hence can make decision. राइट ये बहुत सारे प्रेसिडेंट ने कहा है, राइट, स्पेशली व्हेन राजेंद्र प्रसाद एक्चुअली असर्टेड कि नहीं, प्रेसिडेंट के पास आप पढ़िए आर्टिकल 53, उसमें डायरेक्ट लिखा हुआ है, आप संविधान से चलेंगे ना जी, राइट. We have decided that the entire system will work as per the constitution. Then article 53 simply says that the president shall be the head of the union executive and he shall act directly, right, or with the subordinate of his officer. But article 17(4 क्या कहता है? There shall be a council of minister, right? So there is a debate in India whether the president is symbolically figurehead or a real executive. Got the idea? So look it. So therefore, there is a debate. There is a debate that whether the president is a symbolic figurehead or or real power lies in the president. Right? This is the debate. Got the idea? Yeah, am I making sense? Shaba, Tai, Tarun, Nilesh, Ashwin, Ayushi? Right? The constitution is a little vague in defining the constitutional position of the president in relation to his council of ministers. There have been many presidents who asserted that he is the head of the government, hence can make decision. Therefore, there is a debate that whether the president is a symbolic figurehead or real power lies in the president. Got the idea? Now, if we look at the part 5th of the Indian Constitution defines the power and functions of the president. Okay? Now, we need to go to the debate in the Constituent Assembly debate. What the members debated in the Constituent Assembly. Now, if you look at the Constituent Assembly debate, it was clear that we are opting a parliamentary form of government in India, as similar to the the British parliamentary system, right? Similarly, what the position king have in parliamentary democracy in Britain, similarly the president will have the similar one. Making sense? Yeah, got the idea? The idea was we are opting parliamentary democracy like Britain or British parliamentary democracy. So what is the position? Whatever the position of British king have in the parliamentary democracy or queen have parliamentary democracy, similar position will be with the president of India. Now, the Dr. Ambedkar, had made a great statement within the Constituent Assembly, right? I'm quoting him now. I will dictate, but quoting him. Under the presidential system of America, the president is the chief head of the executive, right? In the presidential system of the US, President is the chief head of the executive, and administrative power is vested in him, right? But under the under the Indian parliamentary system, the president occupies the same position as the king under the English parliamentary democracy. He is the head of the state, but not the head of the executive. He represents the nation, but he does not rule the nation. He is the symbol of the nation. Got the idea? Right? The all work done in the name of, right, under the seal and head of seal of the president. सारा काम president के नाम पे होगा, right? And he is a symbol, national symbol. He, he represents the state, but he does not rule the state. Right? Entire power will lie in the Council of Minister. Making sense? Similarly, Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer made the similar statement. Yes, and if president does not accept the aid and advice given by the Council of Minister, then Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer said it would be the violation of the Indian Constitution. The impeachment process should proceed. Right? Got the idea? Now, within the Constituent Assembly, there was another perspective, right? And that perspective was proposed by two people, the Dr. K. Munshi and H.V. Kamath, right? And they said that we are not opting British Parliament, we are not borrowing as it is, right? We are not borrowing parliamentary system in India as it is from the England. For example, in England, the king is traditional head. His father or mother was head. His father, right? In India, the president is elected one. Right? President is elected one. Now, right? Now in Britain, the king cannot be impeached. In India, can, right? And the president has a responsibility to protect the Indian Constitution, right? And therefore, power lies in the president also. Power lies in the president also. Now, what Nehru had the opinion in the Constituent Assembly? K. Munshi ने एक किताब लिख दी, the position of the Indian president, the position of the president under Indian Constitution. Assembly के बाद, पूरा संविधान बनने के बाद, and he supported that the president has some power. Now, what Nehru thought about? Nehru talked, Nehru argued that president, has to work on the aid and advice given by the Council of Minister, because we are opting parliamentary democracy. But he is a very dignified and respectful position. The office of the president is a very respectful and dignified. He represents, nations. He represents, togetherness. He represents, the unity and integrity of India. Got the idea? So that was a debate within the Constituent Assembly. Right. Now, if you look at that debate, again came after, अगर आपको पता है कि ये नेहरू और डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद में काफी हंगामा हुआ था, राइट? राजेंद्र प्रसाद कह रहे थे कि नहीं, मेरे पास भी कुछ पावर है. नेहरू कह रहे थे कि नहीं साहब, ऐसा देखिए कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर जो आपको एड एंड एडवाइस देगा, आप साइन करना पड़ेगा. प्रेसिडेंट ने फिर बोला कि नहीं, तो बोला ऐसा है सरकार आप संभालिए, मैं रिजाइन करता हूं. नेहरू वाज अ टॉवरिंग पावर पर्सनालिटी. उसने बोला नहीं, मैं साइन कर देता हूं. Hindu Code Bill, the example is of Hindu Code Bill. He was not willing to sign on Hindu Code Bill, the Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, because of the lot of protest. Right? Nehru ने कहा कि नहीं, आपको साइन करना पड़ेगा. Right? And case went to the court, Supreme Court. Right? And what Supreme Court said that the case का नाम है राम जवाया कपूर वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया केस. इस केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या कहा कि the president, the Indian president is same as the British king, right? Article 53 gives him power directly, but Article 74(1) says that there shall be a council of minister headed by the prime minister, right? Prime minister and the president shall act accordance with the such advice. फाइन सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि भैया देखिए आपका जो पावर है वो सीमित है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फैसला दे दिया, मतलब पावर चीजों को रिजॉल्व कर दिया. अदरवाइज वो कहते थे कौन, प्रेसिडेंट राजेंद्र प्रसाद कहते थे देखिए ये तो लिखा है कि प्रेसिडेंट शैल एक्ट सच एडवाइस, बट ये नहीं कहा कि प्रेसिडेंट शैल बी बाउंड विद द सच एडवाइस. It is not written the president shall be bound by such advice. It is said the president shall work as per such advice. But ये भी तो लिखा हुआ है कि I can work directly, right? So actually matter was resolved, and the president is a symbolical figurehead. तो सवाल ये आए तो बिल्कुल इसी तरह से आपको conclude करना है. Matter was settled by the Supreme Court, right? Yeah, making sense? I'll dictate, don't worry. Yeah, Tarun, Tai, Shaba, Nilesh, Shumanta, Ashwin, Ayushi. Yeah? Now, right? Okay. Change the paragraph and write. The Constituent Assembly debate debates, makes it clear, makes it clear whether the president is symbolically a figurehead. Right. Majority of the CA, that is Constituent Assembly, यहाँ पर CA लिख देना, बार बार आपको यहाँ पर CA यूज करना पड़ेगा. The majority of the CA, propose that the intention of CA is to make the president a ceremonial head. And not the real head of the government. Head of the government. Right? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that under the presidential system of America, of America, the president is the chief head. the president is real head and administrative power is vested in him. And administrative power is vested in him. Right? But in the Indian parliamentary system, Indian parliamentary system, right? The president occupies, the president occupies इतना लिख लीजिए. Under the presidential system of America, the president is a real head and administrative power is vested in him. But in Indian parliamentary system, the president occupies same position or similar position as the king under the British parliamentary system. क्या हुआ? गर्मी लग रही है? Similar position as the king under the British parliamentary system, right? It is due to, right? Ambedkar said that the president is not elected directly, The president is not elected directly, and India has opted parliamentary system of democracy. इन्वर्टेड कॉमा लगाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं, मैं तोड़ फोड़ के बिल्कुल गड़बड़ कर, मतलब ऐसा कोई कोटेशन नहीं है. The president is not elected directly and India has opted parliamentary system of government. Right? In which the president represents the nation. The president represents the nation. Represents the nation. Right? But does not rule the nation, comma, but does not rule the nation. Right? But does not rule the nation. He is a symbol of the nation. He is symbol of the nation, and he shall act, as per the aid and advice. He shall act as per aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers. I'm writing here now like this, COM, Council of Ministers. This is the Ambedkar clear position. He was a drafting, drafting chair, the chair of the drafting committee within the Constituent Assembly. He proposed this kind of perspective. Right? Now, change the paragraph and write, Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer. Change the paragraph and write Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer. Right. He was
सर
another
एक बार
member of
प्रीवियस
the
स्लाइड दिखाइए ना.
drafting committee. Yeah. छूट गया कुछ नीलेश? Previous
हाँ,
slide?
यस सर, लास्ट फ्यू वर्ड्स प्रीवियस स्लाइड
Write
एक
it,
बार
write
दिखा
it,
दीजिए.
write it. Very good. Write it. जो डिबेट है प्रेसिडेंट के अराउंड दैट आई
डन
विल
सर.
टीच यू जो फैक्चुअल चीज है मैं आपको बता दूंगा किताब से लिखना. हाँ, किताब से देखना इलेक्शन कैसे होता है. मैं आई विल टेल यू, डोंट वरी. आई विल डिबेट देन आई एग्जैक्टली लिखाना उससे होगा. या Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer, another member of drafting committee, member of drafting committee, supported Dr. Ambedkar view on the power of the president. Right? Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer, another member of the drafting committee, supported Dr. Ambedkar's view on the power of the president. Right? He said that the Council of Ministers, I'm writing COM, right? The Council of Ministers, आप confuse मत होना, Council of Ministers को ऐसे लिखा है brief में. The Council of Ministers shall be the responsible collectively to the parliament. Right? The Council of Ministers shall be responsible collectively to the parliament. Right? And parliament shall be responsible to the people of India. To the people of India. Right? The president in this context, in this parliamentary system of government, right? The president shall act in accordance with aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers. The president shall act in accordance with aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers. If he violates such advice, then it will attract impeachment. ATTRACT, attract the violation of constitution. ऐसे लिखेगा. It attracts violation of constitution, attract it amounts violation of constitution, it amounts violation of constitution and attracts impeachment. है ना, सही वर्ड का सही जगह पे पोजीशन होना चाहिए. That if he violates such advice, then it amounts violation of constitution and attracts impeachment. समझ में आया? ठीक है? Yeah, Vandita, making sense? Yeah, Nilesh, Shaba, Tai, Tarun, Ayushi, making sense clearly? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, likhiye, change the paragraph and say, change the paragraph and write. There were few members. There were few members like K.M. Munshi, H.V. Kamath, and Professor K.T. Shah. K. Munshi, H.V. Kamath, V for Vellore, H.V. Kamath, and Professor K.T. Shah who favored a powerful president for India. Dr. K.M. Munshi in his book, The President under the Indian Constitution. Dr. K.M. Munshi in his book, The President under Indian Constitution, states that or said that, जो भी लिखना है, Dr. K. Munshi in his book, The President under Indian Constitution, said that no, the Indian parliamentary system is not similar to British model of parliamentary government. Similar as the British model of
Sir said that.
Indian parliamentary system is not similar as the British model of parliamentary government. We have opted fundamental right, DPSP, independent judiciary, and supremacy of the constitution.
Sir, Indian parliamentary similar.
Indian parliamentary
System is not similar.
मुझे लिख लेने दो. Indian parliamentary system is not similar to the British model of parliamentary government. Right? क्या लिखा उसके बाद मैंने क्या लिखवाया? Yeah, we have opted. अब याद आ गया. We have opted, fundamental rights, DPSP, independence of judiciary, and federal system. Which are different from from British model. From British model. Right? The Indian president is responsible to protect the constitution, protect the constitution, and therefore, he has legal power. Legal power as per the constitution. As per the constitution. नहीं जुडिशरी है, बट आप प्रेसिडेंट को पढ़िए, आर्टिकल में लिखा हुआ है कि प्रेसिडेंट शैल टेक ओथ टू डिफेंड एंड प्रोटेक्ट द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. Yes, you're right that judiciary is a custodian, interpreter, and protector of the constitution. But president also take oath. President also take oath, right, to defend and protect the Indian constitution. Right? अब अगर ऑब्जेक्टिव में आएगा तो जुडिशरी ही मारना है, प्रेसिडेंट को नहीं मारना है. समझ में आया? हाँ? For how he cannot protect? He can protect अगर देखेगा कि कहीं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वायलेशन हो रहा है, प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगा देगा या वहां पर कुछ भेज देगा. He can't protect. Why not? He can protect with his subordinate officer. All bureaucrat are his subordinate officer. All the work is done on the name of the president in India. President of India in India. Sorry? नहीं, एक्चुअली क्या है, हमारे यहाँ है, बट इनका मानना था कि नहीं होना चाहिए. Right? He is also defender and protector of the constitution, so he should have some legal power. Got the idea?
If there is some kind of bill which violates the constitution, passed by both the houses.
That's the supreme, president can, so president is not a rubber stamp. Let me tell you, this is an entirely different question. When then there will be a question whether president is a rubber stamp in India. No, president is not a rubber stamp. President has ample power, like veto power. You have to explain veto power, and then you have to demonstrate. No, he is not a rubber stamp, right? He can, he does not act. He may not act. He has pocket veto, right? He can return the bill. Even he can advise, return the advice given by the Council of Ministers only once. But when again such advice was given to the president, then president will have act accordingly. Yeah, he cannot return the Constitutional Amendment Act. But that was later on. It was, I think, 24th Constitutional Amendment Act, right? That made mandatory for the president to sign on the Constitutional Amendment Bill. Got the idea? So Constitutional Assembly ने ऐसा रबर स्टंप नहीं बनाया प्रेसिडेंट को. ठीक है? Got the idea? But he is a ceremonial figurehead. He is the real head of the executive. Real head is the Prime Minister, Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. ये डिबेट समझ में आया? ठीक है? तो रबर स्टंप आएगा तो बहुत कम इसमें से सारा पावर उसको डिफाइन करना है. जब फिगर हेड आएगा तो इस सारे जो डिबेट है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का वो, and then could लिखना however the president has veto power. He has some discretionary power. Especially discretionary power कब important हो जाता है president का, जब parliament hung होता है. Hung parliament means no party has full majority. That's called hung parliament. But why he always starts with a speech and made government? Who? But why he always starts with speech with the made government? कौन? President. सरकार का तो the all action, all the administrative act is done on the behalf of the president. तो सरकार तो उन्हीं का है ना. He the executive head, right? All work done on the name of the president in India. तो सरकार तो उन्हीं का भाई. हम लोग तो आप लोग तो मतलब हम लोग तो नौकर हैं उनके, राइट? हम लोग तो नौकर भी नहीं है. ब्यूरोक्रेट नौकर होता है और जो भी काउंसिल मिनिस्टर होते हैं उनको नौकर होते हैं, राइट? तो सरकार तो प्रेसिडेंट की है. लाइक ब्रिटेन में किंग की होती है, बट किंग इज नॉट इलेक्टेड वन हियर, बट वी हैव elected president. The king cannot be impeached, but the president can be impeached. Making sense? Right? The king has no obligation, but president has obligation to defend and protect the constitution. That is the difference between Indian parliamentary system and the British parliamentary system. Right? In British parliamentary system, British parliament is the supreme and sovereign. In India, Indian parliament is not sovereign. It is limited by the constitution. Right? Making sense? Yeah. Therefore, he said he has legal power. Right? Nehru opined that the president is a ceremonial head in India, and he shall act as per aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers. But the office of but he is a very respectful and dignified got the idea? Now in the post-independent India, you write now. In the post-independent India, the Dr. Rajendra Prasad said that the aid and advice given to the president is not binding on him. Yeah. The Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president, said that the aid and advice given to the president is not binding upon him. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president of India, said that the aid and advice given to the president is not binding upon him.
Sir, aided advice.
Aid and advice, yeah. In post-independent India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president of India, said that the aid and advice the aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers to the President, given by COM to the President, is not binding upon him. Right? He asserted his legal power. He asserted his legal power right? Comma. In response, Jawaharlal Nehru threatened to quit the government. And in response, the PM Jawaharlal Nehru threatened to quit the government. Right? It happened 4 times during Nehru Prasad regime. It happened 4 times, 4 times during Sabya, क्या रिपीट करना है? मैंने क्या लिखा? बाइंडिंग अपॉन हिम, उसके बाद क्या लिखवाया? डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद, नो इसका इन रिस्पॉन्स लिखवाया होगा ना? या इन रिस्पॉन्स, अब समझ में आ गया मुझे. इन रिस्पॉन्स, Jawaharlal Nehru threatened to quit the government. It happened 4 times. During Nehru Prasad Prime Minister and Presidentship. And presidentship. ये 4 बार हुआ ये वाक्य. राइट? अंबेडकर, ये डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद ने कहा कि मेरे पास ज्यादा पावर है. उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, ऐसा है कि हमारे काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर के पास ज्यादा पावर है. पावर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट तो हमेशा होता है. राइट? Until the 24th Constitutional Amendment Act, you write, until the 24th CAA, the president was not bound. The president was not bound to give assent to the constitutional amendment bill. Right? right? Further, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, the 42nd CAA, restricted the power of the president. According to 40 CAA, according to 42nd CAA, president was bound to follow the aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers headed by the PM. उसको और कम कर दिया. Okay. However, the 44th CAA, the 44th CAA restored the power of the president. However, the 44th CAA restored the power of the president. He can return, aid and advice to the COM, to the Council of Ministers for reconsideration. But when the Council of Ministers given such advice again, the president has to follow it. The president has to follow it. Right? The Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh case, and Ram Javaya case, and राम जवाया कपूर है, कोई बात नहीं, case, the Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh case and Ram Javaya case held that the president has to follow the aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers. Yeah. But when the Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh case and Ram Javaya case held that the president has to follow the aid and advice advice given by the Council of Ministers. देखिए, but The president has veto power. The president has veto powers and can check the council of ministers. Can check the council of ministers. However, he is assumed as, however, the office of president is assumed as SLK. However, the office of president is assumed as ceremonial figurehead in Indian parliamentary democracy. However, the office of president is assumed as the ceremonial figurehead in parliamentary democracy in India. एक तो मसला हमने निपटा दिया कि वेदर प्रेसिडेंट इज अ पावर हेड और नॉट. तो सवाल जब आएगा कि वेदर दिस इज अ फिगर हेड और does he some real power, you have to put some all the debate, constitutional assembly debate, right? You have to put the Supreme Court, then several article especially 53 and 74(1), then Supreme Court judgment. ठीक है, सबको पुट करना है सवाल में. ये सारे एंगल है पॉलिटी के क्वेश्चन. ऐसा नहीं कि पॉलिटी के क्वेश्चन में इकोनॉमिक्स को घुसा देंगे. लोग कहते हैं कि एंगल अलग अलग होना चाहिए. एंगल पॉलिटी में पॉलिटी का ही अलग अलग एंगल होना चाहिए कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट क्या कह रहा है, आर्टिकल क्या कह रहा है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट क्या कहता है, राइट. कोई कमीशन है अगर बैठा हुआ, कमीशन और कमिटी क्या कहती है. तो ये अलग अलग एंगल हुए. समझ गए, राइट. सो पॉलिटी के क्वेश्चन में ज्योग्राफी नहीं घुसाना. ठीक है. हाँ, या unlimited time. You can slip, for indefinite period. Fine. So I hope you got the idea that whether we consider the idea that the president is a ceremonial figurehead under Indian constitution. Now दूसरा क्वेश्चन आता है कि क्या is he a rubber stamp? Is the president a rubber stamp in for the Indian government? ये भी सवाल है एक. Right? Is the president a rubber stamp for the Indian government? Here now you have to deal with very थोड़ा सा carefully. How you deal with it? Now, if you look at, you will talk about constitutional position of the president. For example, you write the Constitution part 5th and article 52 to 78 deals with the union government, a union executive. Right? The Constitution part 5th and article 52 to 78 deals with the union executive. It consists of the president, vice president, VP, and council of ministers, COM. headed by PM and Attorney General of India. Right? Article 53 again अब यहाँ से आपको वो repeat करना. Article 53 says that Article 53 says that the President shall be the head of the Union Executive. The President shall be the head of the Union Executive, and he shall exercise power either directly, or with the help of his subordinate official in accordance with the Constitution. Right? Right? However, Article 74 Clause 1 जो वही लिखा है वही लिखना है. Article 74 Clause 1 says that there shall be a council of ministers Yeah, मैं बढ़ा दूं आगे. Yeah, Shaba, should I move? Tai, Tarun, Ashwin, should I move? Have you written it? कोई कंफ्यूजन तो नहीं है? कोई सब क्लियर तो है? पक्का? या बहुत आसान है. प्रेसिडेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर, हाँ कुछ नहीं इसमें, बट थोड़ा सा टेक्निकली थोड़ा सा याद मतलब थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना है कि है क्या. Says that there shall be a council of ministers headed by the PM, who PM for aid and advice to the president, who shall act in accordance with such advice. Shall be a council of ministers headed by the PM for aid and advice to the president, who shall act in accordance with such advice. Right? In the history of parliamentary democracy in India, the president is a ceremonial head, ceremonial figurehead. Right? But not the real head of the government, not the real head of the government. However, the Constitution recognizes that the President shall be defender and protector of the Indian Constitution. Defender and protector of the Constitution. Right? There are many precedents. There are many precedents who asserted his legal power as per Article 53. As per Article 53. But the Constitutional, Constituent Assembly, intended the office of President as a nominal head. Office of the President as nominal head.
सर
But
एक
he's
बार
not a
प्रीवियस
rubber
स्लाइड
stamp.
दिखाइएगा.
1 minute. But he is not a rubber stamp. Yeah, write it. There are many presidents, as होगा जब मैंने लिखे हैं, presidents who asserted his legal power as per Article 53, but Constituent Assembly, सही तो लिखा है, Constituent Assembly intended the office of President as a nominal head, but not the rubber stamp, of course.
Done, sir.
Done? Okay. But not a rubber stamp, right? The Constitutional Amendment Act the 24th actually, the 24th Constitutional Amendment Act further restricted the 24th and 42nd. The 24th and 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act further limited power of the President. Right? The 24th and 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act further limited power of the President. The 44th CAA returned or restored the President's power limited by the 42nd CAA, बट ये रिस्टोर नहीं हो पाया था। 24th वाला जो हुआ ना, वो रिस्टोर नहीं हो पाया प्रेसिडेंट के पास, वो ऐसे ही है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट बिल अगर आएगा प्रेसिडेंट के पास तो प्रेसिडेंट को साइन करना पड़ेगा। Like the 44th CAA restored the president power limited by the original, but the president has limited power as per 24th CAA. In addition, the Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh and Ram Javaya case, देख रहे हैं हम दोनों यूज सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, बट ये बिल्कुल अलग से आंसर बनेगा। The SC in Shamsher Singh and Ram Javaya case said that the president shall follow the aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers, COM. Right. However, still the Constitution provides following veto powers and discretionary powers, and पहले इतना लिख लीजिए, हाँ, बट द प्रेसिडेंट एक ही पैराग्राफ में लपेटा ना इसको, शुरू से लेकर अभी तक। हाँ, ब्रेक कर लेना अपने हिसाब से। हाँ, राइट, मुझे याद नहीं रहा कि कहाँ ब्रेक करवाना है। राइट, नो देयर विल बी ब्रेकअप, फाइन। जैसे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस के बाद ब्रेकअप कर देना है। या मेकिंग सेंस, शबा, should I move? Provides following powers and discretionary powers. Right? Like first, अब क्या क्या वीटो पावर है लिखिए, एब्सोल्यूट वीटो, absolute veto, right? It means the president, it means the president withhold the assent to the bill, right, passed by the parliament. अब इसका क्या मतलब है? विथ होल्ड का क्या मतलब है? वो मना कर देगा, सिंपली मना कर देगा कि मैं साइन नहीं करूंगा। बट क्या वो हमेशा ऐसा करेगा? नहीं करेगा। राइट, दो केसेस में करता है। राइट, मान लो कि लोकसभा और राज्यसभा दोनों ने बिल पास कर दिया है ना, और प्रेसिडेंट के पास भेज दिया, लोकसभा हो गया भंग, सरकार गई, नई सरकार आई, राइट। अब नई सरकार ने कह दिया कि ऐसा है कि आप उस पर साइन नहीं करेंगे, प्रेसिडेंट साइन नहीं करेगा। गॉट द आइडिया? दूसरी बात, जब प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल, आपने सुना है प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल? जब प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल मान लीजिए लोकसभा से भी पास हो गया, राज्यसभा से भी पास हो गया, कैबिनेट ने एडवाइस दिया साहब आप इसको पास नहीं करेंगे, वो नहीं करेंगे। गॉट द आइडिया? तो दैट इज विथ होल्डिंग द बिल, राइट। देखिए इट इज यू नो it is used by the president in case of private member bill, or when the bill passed by both the houses and the Lok Sabha is dissolved. इस केस में वो साइन नहीं करता है, राइट। द न्यू प्राइम मिनिस्टर, द न्यू गवर्नमेंट may advise to the president not to sign the bill. ठीक है, इसका मतलब वो रबर स्टम्प नहीं है, वो अपना दिमाग यूज कर सकता है, कोई भी बिल आया उस पर मोहर लगा दिया, ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, राइट। प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल आएगा तो उसको छोड़ देगा। मान लीजिए कोई बिल पास कर दिया बट सरकार गिर गई, तो वो उस वक्त तो अपना काम कर सकता है ना। सॉरी, न्यू है यार, न्यू गवर्नमेंट का एडवाइस तो मानेगा नहीं यार। मतलब ये देखो, ही कैन नॉट बी लाइक Chinese president or the North Korean president. The Indian president cannot be like Chinese president or North Korean president. He is not directly elected by the people of India. Look at the prime minister. Prime minister is elected by the people of India directly, right? So in the parliamentary form of democracy, the prime minister is a real head, and that's why parliamentary democracy is called also prime ministerial form of democracy, right? He's also heading the cabinet. Who? Prime minister. Therefore prime minister form of government is also called the cabinet form of government, right? And since the cabinet form of government was already in the Westminster, London, it is also known as a Westminster form of government still now. But president has some power now come to the suspensive power. Don't have no suspensive power we have. Yeah, now you write suspensive power, suspensive veto. 1 minute. Suspensive veto. जी बोलिए।
So this is absolute veto, but this veto is still exercised by the new government, or so it's not president.
Yeah, the president use only in exceptions. That of course, it's not all the time. President uses this absolute veto occasionally, not all the time. Like PNB पे तो होता है ना? No, of course he's not. It's called. It's not his own. He has to take the aid and advice of the president of the council of ministers. He has to follow.
So that means even let's say veto power, he has to take the
Aid and advice given by the council of minister. Right. Even if you see the pocket veto, in that case, pocket veto is very important. पॉकेट वीटो में क्या होता है कि सरकार ने बिल दे दिया, अब वो कुछ करेगा ही नहीं, ना हाँ बोलेगा ना बोलेगा, ना उद्धव से कुछ लेना ना माधव को कुछ देना, बस सिंपल शांत रहना है ना। यस सभा, डू यू वांट टू आस्क समथिंग? या when the bill president uses absolute veto, when bill Yeah, in two cases, I had written in, it is used by the president in case of private member bill. When the private member bill passed by both the houses, in that case, president may not sign on it. बोलेगा मैं sign नहीं करूंगा जी. Or when the bill passed by both the houses and the Lok Sabha is dissolved, right? That means the fall of the government. In this case, new government may suggest that कि आप साइन मत करिएगा साहब, और वो साइन नहीं करेगा, बट हो सकता है वो साइन कर दे. ऐसा नहीं कि वो नया सरकार के हो सकता है कि पुराना सरकार ने दोनों, वो बिल लेजिटिमेट बिल है भाई, राइट, बट न्यू गवर्नमेंट बोलेगा कि चलो मत करिएगा, तो नहीं करेंगे. या शबा मेकिंग सेंस? The president will uses the private veto in two cases, in private member bill and when the older government passes the bill, but new government said no. Now come to the suspensive veto, right? Okay, it refers to, it denotes the power of the president to return the bill for reconsideration. To the House. Right? It denotes the power of the president to return the bill for the reconsideration of the House, or reconsideration to the, for reconsideration of the Parliament, of the House. ठीक है, to the House. Fine? Making sense? देखिए, however, एक चीज और देखिए, the president cannot return money bill. मनी बिल को रिटर्न नहीं कर सकते. एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल, constitutional amendment bill. The president cannot return money bill and constitutional amendment bill. He can return financial bill and ordinary bill. इतना छोटा छोटा दिख भी नहीं रहा होगा आप लोगों को. या president can return the money bill and the constitutional amendment bill. No, not constitutional bill. Can return financial bill and ordinary bill. Okay? Have you written? Nilesh, हो गया आपका? The president can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the president can return financial bill and ordinary bill. When the Parliament again passes the bill and sent to the president for his assent, then he is bound to sign on it. जी अब्दुल बताइए. Sorry. No, he can't return. No, the Constitution recognizes that he is defender and protector of the Constitution, right? Let me tell you, when there will be, some threat to the Indian democracy or Indian threat to the national sovereignty, then he can act independently, right? But in the normal time, he has to act with the aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers, right? So he will be defender and protector of the Constitution in the extraordinary time, right? Merely, ठीक है, जब काम लीगली ना हो रहा हो. अदरवाइज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सबसे बड़ा लॉफुल क्या है? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ना. अब जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन किसने बनाया? कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली ने. वही पार्लियामेंट बन गया लेटर ऑन. Now parliament amended the constitution. Now it's still amending constitution, right? And once the constitution has been amended, then everyone has to follow the constitution, right? Constitution is supreme, right? अगर कुछ करना है तो constitution बदल दीजिए, right? And the council of ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha, the parliament of the house, particularly to the Lok Sabha, and the entire Lok Sabha is responsible to their constituency, to their people, है ना? Yes. Yeah. Any question? Now this is the one bill, right? Then here I have pocket veto. Now third is pocket veto, right? It denotes or it refers to the power of the president to neither ratify nor reject nor return the bill nor return the bill. He simply keeps the bill, pending for indefinite period of time. Right? It refers to the power of the president to neither ratify nor reject nor return the bill. He simply keeps the bill pending for indefinite period of time. Simply pocket में डाल दो. Right? ना हाँ कहना ना कहना ना कुछ करना. ठीक है? That's why it's called pocket veto. Right? It means the president does not take any action on the bill. It means the president does not act on the bill. Right? Now got the idea? Now again here see the power of the president. He is not a rubber stamp. Got the idea? सस्पेंसिव वीटो क्या होता है? सस्पेंसिव वीटो हमारे पास नहीं होता है. सस्पेंसिव वीटो होता है एक्चुअली आपको मैंने ये वीटो पढ़ाया था, सॉरी क्वालिफाइड वीटो. सस्पेंसिव वीटो पता चल गया कि जब एनी बिल, व्हेन एनी बिल कम्स टू द प्रेसिडेंट, then president can return it to the parliament for reconsideration. That is called suspensive veto, right? And when the parliament passes it again with the same majority, then the president has to sign it. Got the idea? Now look at the American system. where the president can return the bill to the house. Now the house has to pass it with not the same majority, no, the higher majority. मान लीजिए पिछले बार 200 लोगों ने वोट किया था सपोर्ट में, फिर से उसको 200 से नहीं काम चलेगा, कम से कम 201 202 चाहिए, right, with higher majority, and then it will send to the president and president will sign and it will become a law. That is called qualified veto. Making sense? Qualified veto जरूरत नहीं है तो हम इस यहाँ पे मेंशन नहीं करेंगे. लिखिए yeah, you right. Apart from all veto, the president has discretionary power. The president has discretionary power. No, especially when there is a hung parliament. Then when there is a hung parliament, he can appoint the leader of majority party, or he can appoint क्या लफड़ा लगाना लिख दीजिए, he can appoint the leader of majority party as the prime minister. He can appoint the leader of majority party or the majority coalition. He can appoint the leader of majority party or majority coalition. He can appoint the leader of majority party or majority coalition. As the PM, right, and direct him to go for the floor test. Right? Please read it from the last. Yeah, I will do that, Shaba. Apart from the all veto, the president has discretionary power, especially when there is a hung parliament. Apart from all veto, the president has discretionary power, especially when there is a hung parliament. He can appoint the leader of majority party or majority coalition as the PM and direct him to go for the floor test. Floor test मतलब majority show करिए भैया, उससे पहले आप सरकार कैसे बना लेंगे? Hung parliament when the no political party has full majority. कल मैंने आपको गलती से ही सही एक चीज बताया, एब्सोल्यूट मेजॉरिटी क्या होता है? 50% of the total plus 1. इतना सीट जरूर आना चाहिए सरकार बनाने के लिए, राइट? अगर इतना सीट नहीं आता है किसी भी पार्टी को पार्लियामेंट में, then it will be called as a hung parliament. Now if you look at from 1991 to 2014, parliament was hung. Basically the coalition government was formed. नहीं, basically coalition government was formed. 1991 तक 2014 तक the decision of the Indian people was very fragmented. No single party was able to gain the full majority in the house, right? and coalition government formed. Yeah, got the idea, Shaba? Right. Yeah. Indicate the above power demonstrate that the president is not a rubber stamp. Is not a rubber stamp of the government. Right. However, however, he is the ceremonial figurehead. Figurehead who represents the nation but not rule the nation. जी हो गया done. However, he is the ceremonial figurehead who represents the nation but not rule the nation. समझ में आया? हाँ, अब थोड़ा सा मैं टास्क दे देता हूं प्रेसिडेंट से रिलेटेड कुछ जो आपको पीटी में भी काम आ जाए. अच्छा, पेज नंबर है 64 बुक 1 एंड बुक 2 में है, लास्ट में देख लीजिए कितना पेज नंबर है. पेज नंबर प्रेसिडेंट का है 59 से शुरू है. या बुक 1 पेज नंबर 59 टू 69. ऑल ड्यूल्स विद द प्रेसिडेंट. थोड़ा इसको पढ़िएगा. राइट. और जो बुक 2 है उसमें पेज नंबर 160 पेज नंबर 162 no, many things are overlapping, don't mind it. Yeah, 175. That is about the president. Right? Read the constitutional provision like article 52 क्या कहता है, article 53 तो बता ही दिया. Right? Article 54 क्या है? Right? That will, article 54 talks about election of the president. That we will do tomorrow. But थोड़ा पढ़ के आइएगा election of the president. ठीक है? And then we will talk about the president power. Right? Also we'll talk about impeachment, how president can be impeached, right? And then I'll talk about the ordinance making power of the president. Right? So executive होगी, अभी तो चलेगा ये class. I don't know number में क्या होगा, anyway, but it's all right. चलो, so इतना है, right? You read it. You got the idea? आज समझ में आया? Yeah. नीलेश समझ में आया ना? अश्विन डन? ये थोड़ा सा पढ़िएगा कि प्रेसिडेंट का इलेक्शन कैसे होता है. राइट. Right. Now see you tomorrow then. Hello, Tarun, Shaba, Ayushi. I hope you all are good. And you are connected in. Yeah, yeah, very good. Now, today we'll talk about adjustment. Yesterday we talked about something. I hope we talked about what? We talked about Bentham, and then we talked about uh, some J.S. Mill introduced. I introduced J.S. Mill, and then I was talking about liberalism. Huh? Right. I was talking about the idea of liberalism. Right. The rest part of liberalism we will study in the political ideology. Right. So we talked about liberalism. What is idea all about? Basic idea बता दिया. कौन था फादर इसका? फादर था जॉन लॉक. John Locke was father of liberalism, right? And who was the major exponent of the liberal philosophy? Jeremy Bentham, Adam Smith, Herbert Spencer, and J.S. Mill, right? Now, what J.S. Mill did, actually, J.S. Mill diverted the idea. Liberals का क्या कहना था? Limited state, you know, right? Liberalism का core philosophy क्या है? Liberty, इंडिविजुअल लिबर्टी और लिमिटेड स्टेट. यही है ना, इसी को लेजिस फेयर स्टेट एडम स्मिथ ने कहा है, नाम दिया है, राइट? कि स्टेट शुड intervene as minimum as it can in the market. What Adam Smith talk about, right? Now, if you look at the John Locke, who also argued that government should not impose taxes without the consent of the government, right? And its state should be limited to 3 tasks. क्या क्या है? Security, then law and order, and then enforcement of contract. These are the 3, role of the state. And the rest of the role, left to the citizen. Citizen काम करेंगे. Now come to the modern liberals. Modern liberals actually, revised the idea of liberalism. And what they thought no, a state should not be minimal. A state should intervene, in to protect the poor, weak, vulnerable, marginal population, right? And a state should provide like pension, a state should provide education, a state should provide, health, a state should provide infrastructure, a state should provide shelter to the homeless, right? Right. And therefore, he said कि जैसमिल ने कहा कि ऐसा कोई भी modern liberals thought that कि ठीक है, liberals कहता है कि everyone should be left free, there should be freedom, but can anyone be free to starve? Can any be free to diseased? Can any be free to to ignore? Can anyone to be illiterate? कोई illiterate है तो क्या free छोड़ देना चाहिए? नहीं, state has to play a positive role. State has to establish education and provide opportunity for education, a good quality education, so that individual can realize freedom, the true meaning of freedom, right? Got the idea? So basically, modern liberals placed their faith in the active role of the state, not with the minimal state, but active role of the state. They agreed with the liberty. Individual liberty should be protected, but they were not agreed with the liberals that limited the state. They said no. Got the idea? Right? So yeah, am I making sense, Shaba, Tarun, Ayushi? if you were, I hope you all were yesterday. आप लोग थे, and if you are there, then you can connect. But agar if you will miss the class, there'll be problem. Right? The modern liberals, the modern liberals revised, liberalism. Right? Revised liberalism. They agreed with classical liberals that individual has liberty. Individual has liberty to pursue their interest. But disagreed with the idea that a state should be limited. इससे डिसएग्री हो गए. इन्होंने कहा कि इंडिविजुअल को लिबर्टी तो होना चाहिए कि अपना इंटरेस्ट वो परस्यू करे, बट स्टेट का रोल लिमिटेड होगा, उससे वो सहमत नहीं है. कौन? मॉडर्न लिबरल्स. राइट? मॉडर्न लिबरल्स आर्ग्यूज modern liberals placed their faith in the positive role of the state. In the positive role of the state. The model, they established their journey. They started their journey from J.S. Mill. From J.S. Mill, who allowed state intervention, state intervention in other regarding action. They means modern liberals. They started their journey from J.S. Mill, who allowed state intervention in other regarding action. G. Modern liberals placed their faith in the positive role of the state. They started their journey from J.S. Mill, who allowed state intervention in other regarding action. Right? Modern they argues that एक मिनट. Unlike liberals, modern liberals, जब सिंपल लिबरल्स कहते हैं तो क्लासिकल लिबरल्स, modern liberals argue that individual should not be left free. Left free to starve. किसी को भूखा रहना छोड़ दो, ऐसे थोड़ी छोड़ सकते. Starve, diseased, ignored, right? Ignored. Right? Illiterate, right? Pauper. Pauper मतलब समझते हैं? Pauper बोलते हैं गरीब को. Poor का दूसरा नाम है pauper. Right? जो धीरे धीरे और गरीब होता जाता है, इसको बोलते हैं pauperism. Right? Philosophers propose that the state should play an active role State should play an active role in order to protect marginal class, marginal, vulnerable, and disadvantaged, classes. राइट? अब देखिए कि स्टेट को पावर दे देते हैं कि भैया आप कुछ कर सकते हैं. किसके लिए? मार्जिनल के लिए, वल्नरेबल के लिए, डिसएडवांटेज के लिए. अब स्टेट लिमिटेड नहीं रहा, स्टेट का ज्यादा काम हो गया. स्टेट का काम ये हो गया स्कूल खोलना, स्टेट का ये भी काम हो गया पीडीएस बांटना, स्टेट का ये भी काम हो गया कि पेंशन देना, स्टेट का ये भी काम हो गया कि रेलवे का ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का इंतजाम करना. राइट? They argued that government should impose. They argued, who? Modern liberals. They argued that the government should impose progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. Right? Progressive taxation on rich and spend money on poor and weak in form of welfare. In form of welfare measures. Pauper means poor. Yeah. Pauper means poor. Right? They argued that government should impose progressive taxation. अच्छा, progressive taxation क्या होता है? किसी को पता है तो मुझे बताइए. What is progressive taxation? ये लोग कह रहे हैं कि भैया progressive taxation लगाइए और फिर वो जो कलेक्टेड पैसा है उससे आप गरीबों में बांट दीजिए. राइट? मतलब स्कूल खुलवा दीजिए, घर बनवा दीजिए. हाँ. Yeah, progressive taxation means taxation as per the income, right? Taxation as per income. right? More income, more tax. More income, more tax. Right? No income, no tax. राइट सो मान लीजिए अभी भी मान लीजिए हमारे इंडिया में 3 लाख के या 3 लाख के नीचे कोई टैक्स नहीं है ना यू नो बेटर इकोनॉमिक्स देन मी देयर इज टू टाइप ऑफ टैक्स दैट इज डायरेक्ट टैक्स एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स आप यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट डायरेक्ट टैक्स राइट नाउ how many income you will have and you will have no tax 3 lakh जीएसटी में भी है प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन ऑफ कोर्स मतलब कुछ चीजों को कम टैक्स करना है और जो मतलब जिसमें ज्यादा प्रोग्रेस है उसमें ज्यादा टैक्स करना है ना उसमें भी है प्रोग्रेसिव ऑफ कोर्स यू आर राइट राइट बट जीएसटी इज नॉट एग्जांपल ऑफ प्रोग्रेसिव जीएसटी में के अंदर प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन है यस यू आर राइट गॉट द आइडिया प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन और उससे जो कलेक्टेड पैसा होगा वो शरीर यू नो जो वो पुअर और वीक है डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप है मार्जिनल क्लास है उसके भलाई के लिए आप काम करें अच्छा ये कौन कहता है ये सब मॉडर्न लिबरल्स कहता है राइट एजुकेशन दीजिए हेल्थ पब्लिक सर्विस पेंशन सब दीजिए अच्छा एडवोकेट कौन कौन थे मॉडर्न लिबरल्स के नहीं एडवोकेट्स कौन है मॉडर्न लिबरल्स के ऑफ मॉडर्न लिबरल्स मॉडर्न लिबरल्स का काम जीएस मिल ने शुरू कर दिया राइट जीएस मिल बाउंड्री पे है मॉडर्न लिबरल भी है और लिबरल क्लासिकल लिबरल भी है राइट काम शुरू होता है इसका टीएच ग्रीन से टीएच ग्रीन एलटी हब हाउस एलटी हब हाउस हेरोल्ड लास्की J.A. Hobson अब जब लिबरलिज्म पढ़ाऊंगा तो सब पूछूंगा हेलो लास्की J.A. Hobson राइट ठीक है ये लोग philosopher थे now if you look at the British philosopher like you know there are economists J.M. Keynes right and William Beveridge who argued that economic security should be provided through legislation you can write the British economist no J.M. Keynes and Beveridge William Beveridge William Beveridge argued that economic security should be provided through legislation or through law therefore the government should frame law to provide employment है ना नरेगा भी है हमारे पास एम्प्लॉयमेंट एजुकेशन हमारे पास राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट है राइट देन पेंशंस right? Wages, minimum wages act है, wages, right? Working hour, labor law है ना, working hours, then weekly leave, to protect no individual. They also argued that कौन कीन्स एंड बेवरेज, थोड़ा जेम कीन्स को गूगल कीजिएगा और स्पेशली विलियम बेवरेज को भी कीजिएगा. इनका एक रिपोर्ट था, विलियम बेवरेज को पढ़िएगा जरा गूगल पे. विलियम बेवरेज रिपोर्ट क्या था, राइट? थोड़ा समझ में आएगा विलियम बेवरेज का रिपोर्ट था क्या. व्हाट वाज विलियम बेवरेज रिपोर्ट, राइट? दे आर्ग्यूड दैट key industries should be nationalized. Key industries should be nationalized to prevent the scarcity of essential goods. Scarcity of essential goods. Right? The public goods should be distributed among the needy. The public goods should be distributed among the needy. The public goods should be distributed among the needy. The public good should be distributed among the needy. या समझ में आया? ये है सारे मॉडर्न लिबरल्स जो इस तरह की बातें करते हैं. नाउ कम टू द न्यू लिबरल. नाउ कम टू न्यू लिबरल. और इनको कहते हैं हम कंटेम्पररी लिबरल. कंटेम्पोरेरी लिबरल्स. और इनको कहते हैं हम लिबर्टेरियंस. लिबर्टेरियंस, राइट? और इनको दूसरा नाम है न्यू लिबरल्स हो गया. न्यू क्लासिकल लिबरल्स भी बोलते हैं. नाम अलग अलग है. न्यू क्लासिकल लिबरल्स, जैसे घर का नाम कुछ और बाहर में कुछ और. दादी ने कुछ बुलाया, मम्मी पापा कुछ बुला रहे हैं और दोस्त कुछ और नाम से बुला रहे हैं. नहीं होता है. एनीवे, बट देयर आर डिफरेंट नेम. New liberals, contemporary liberals, libertarians, new classical liberals, right? Whatever name you want to give them, that's fine. Okay, are you see making sense? Now look at what new liberals talks about. Basically, now they want to revive classical liberal idea. Classical liberal idea of private property, individual right, and limited state. Right? नाउ एक चीज आपको भूल गया मैं कहना, इफ यू लुक एट द क्लासिकल लिबरल, क्लासिकल जो लिबरल है ना, इनका टाइमलाइन है लॉक से शुरू होता है और ये आते आते आपको 19th सेंचुरी के लास्ट तक ये रहता है, मतलब काफी टाइम रहता है क्लासिकल लिबरल का टाइम पीरियड. सो you can write 17th, 18th and 20th century, 19th भी, right? Now if you look at modern liberals शुरू होता है कहानी इनका, मॉडर्न लिबरल्स की कहानी 20th सेंचुरी से बेसिकली. जेस मिल शुरू करते हैं, बट 20th सेंचुरी में आप जितने फिलोसफर पढ़ेंगे ना, टीएच ग्रीन हो, लास्की हो, हॉबस हो, ये सब है 20th सेंचुरी के. अच्छा, ये न्यू जो लिबरल है ये 1950-60 के बाद की बात है, 1950s and 60s and thereafter. ये इमर्ज फिलोसफी हुआ एंड ऑल थ्री फिलोसफी रन्स टुगेदर. ऐसा नहीं कि एक फिलोसफी मर गया तो दूसरा फिलोसफी पैदा हुआ, नहीं. Still we have new liberals, we have people like new liberals like Ambani or Adani, right? और फिलोसफर लाइक आपने अगर नाम नहीं सुना है, अरविंद पैनेग्रिया. Arvind Panagriya was the Niti Aayog first ex-chairman of the Niti Aayog, right? और जगदीश भागवती और मनमोहन सिंह का तो नाम सुना ही होगा, ही इज न्यू लिबरल, राइट? और तो मनटेक सिंह अहलवालिया का नाम तो सुना होगा, राकेश मोहन, अमरनाथ वर्मा, बहुत लोग हैं इंडिया में, इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे अभी बताऊंगा. तो बट ठीक है, they want to revive classical liberal ideas of private property, right, individual rights and limited state. In addition, they want free market, right? Addition, they are free market and reject the idea of welfare state. ये आइडिया ऑफ वेलफेयर स्टेट कहां से आता है? मॉडर्न लिबरल से. मॉडर्न लिबरल ने आइडिया दिया था वेलफेयर स्टेट के लिए, कहा कि स्टेट को वेलफेयर करना चाहिए, है ना. ये रिजेक्ट करता है कि भैया स्टेट को वेलफेयर तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए, स्टेट का काम नहीं है दूध बांटना और ये करना, रेल चलाना, ये प्राइवेट को दे दो, राइट? मार्केट के ऊपर छोड़ दो, मार्केट देख लेगा सब कुछ, राइट? सो दे वांट फ्री मार्केट एंड रिजेक्ट द आइडिया ऑफ वेलफेयर स्टेट, राइट? दे ऑल्सो अपोज the command economy. That is a state regulated economy. States regulated economy, right? They reject the command economy. कहते हैं जब स्टेट रेगुलेट करता है इकोनॉमी को, ठीक है ना? स्टेट रेगुलेट करती है ना इकोनॉमी को, लाइसेंस देना है तो कितना दूर में आपका इंडस्ट्री कैसा होना चाहिए, हाँ आपके पास ये है कि नहीं है, आपके पास वो इसको वो माना करता है, right? They also oppose the command economy, that is a state regulated economy, right? And they stand for minimal state. They stand for minimal state. वो कहते हैं कि स्टेट को मिनिमल होना चाहिए, कम से कम काम कीजिए. The state should stand for मिनिमल स्टेट। ठीक है, ठीक है। अच्छा, मिनिमल स्टेट का क्या मतलब है यहां पर? नाउ इफ यू लुक एट जॉन लॉक, राइट, ही गिव द आइडिया ऑफ लिमिटेड स्टेट, दिया ना। और स्टेट का कौन कितना काम बताया? बोला 3 काम है स्टेट का। क्या क्या है? सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड करना, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना, और टू इन्फोर्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। टू इन्फोर्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, यही है आइडिया ऑफ लिमिटेड स्टेट। बिल्कुल संक्षेप में बता रहा हूं, टॉकिंग अबाउट इन प्रिसाइसली। यही है लिमिटेड स्टेट ना, कि भैया स्टेट के पास लिमिटेड पावर होना चाहिए, ये मात्र 3 काम होना चाहिए, और सारा काम कौन करेगा? इंडिविजुअल का लिबर्टी है, कैसे करेगा? पढ़ाई ब्लॉक्स लिमिटेड स्टेट, राइट। नाउ इधर मिनिमल स्टेट का आइडिया किसने दिया? मिनिमल स्टेट का आइडिया दिया न्यू लिबरल ने। ये लिबरल था, न्यू लिबरल ने मिनिमल स्टेट का आइडिया दिया। नाम था उसका रॉबर्ट नॉजिक, रॉबर्ट नॉजिक, राइट। और उन्होंने कहा कि 3 ही काम है स्टेट का, सिक्योरिटी, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एंड एनफोर्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, राइट। रॉबर्ट नॉजिक ने आइडिया ऑफ मिनिमल स्टेट दिया। एक और थी इनके साथ, एन रैंड था नाम, ने उसको जरूरत नहीं। अब सिक्योरिटी के लिए क्या हमें चाहिए? आर्मी। देखिए ये कहां से ले, ये क्या यूज करते हैं? स्टेट को आर्मी मेंटेन करना है, स्टेट को पुलिस मेंटेन करना है। देखिए स्टेट क्या करता है, पुलिस क्या करता है? लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करता है। अच्छा, स्टेट के पास लॉ ऑफ कोर्ट होना चाहिए। ये क्या करता है? इन्फोर्स ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है। रेस्ट सारा काम स्टेट नहीं करेगा। सॉरी, एग्जैक्टली सेम है, बट ये दूसरा वर्ड यूज करते ना, एग्जैक्टली सेम है। द लॉकिंग द रॉबर्ट नॉजिक मिनिमल स्टेट वर्क ओनली 3 वर्क: आर्मी टू मेंटेन, to protect the people from aggression, to protect people, yeah, to army, protect, yeah, police to maintain law and order, and law of court to enforce contract. और कोई भी काम नहीं करेगा, राइट। आपको पता है लॉ बताया कि नो टैक्सेशन विदाउट कंसेंट, ये बताया था। लॉ कहता है कि गवर्नमेंट शुड नॉट इम्पोज टैक्सेस विदाउट कंसेंट, राइट। ये भी कहता है कि नो प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन। Progressive taxation is like a slavery. No progressive taxation. Now you got the idea what neoliberal wants. ये मैं थोड़ा सिमिलरिटी दिखाने के लिए आपको बता दिया कि हाउ neoliberals are basically similar to the liberals, right? है ना? How neoliberals are similar to the liberals. Now if you look at the new liberals, exponent बताता हूं, they are the market fundamentalist. बताता हूं मार्केट फंडामेंटलिस्ट का नाम का क्यों बोलते हैं मार्केट फंडामेंटलिस्ट। लिख लीजिए तो मुझे बताइए। डन शबा नो टैक्सेशन विदाउट कंसेंट, विदाउट, देखो गड़बड़ी हो जाता, विदाउट कंसेंट, नो टैक्सेशन विदाउट कंसेंट, ये लॉक का कहना था, ये कहते हैं कि नो प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन। ठीक है, you know, if you look at the modern liberals, the new liberals are market fundamentalist. Right? They believe that इसी में, मतलब इसी में मार्केट, न्यू लिबरल्स के बारे में बता रहा हूं, they argue that not argues, they argue that, you know, market has solution to all problems, including poverty, inequality, and environment. सबका सॉल्यूशन किसके पास है? मार्केट के पास है। अभी बताता हूं, या राइट इट आयुषी। हाँ, कैसे इनइक्वालिटी को कैसे रिड्यूस करेगा? जब ऑफ कोर्स बता देता हूं मोटा मोटी। मान लीजिए कि स्टेट प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन नहीं कर रहा है, राइट? तो जो पैसा आएगा इंडिविजुअल का प्रॉपर्टी राइट होगा, एंड इंडिविजुअल विल इन्वेस्ट इट। मान लीजिए आपका 500 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है साल में, बट आपने 50 करोड़ टैक्स ही दे दिया, है ना? जब टैक्स दे दिया आपने, तो वो पैसा आपके हाथ में नहीं रहा ना, वो 5 करोड़ अगर रहेगा तो यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इट इन द अनदर। अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट करोगे, मान लीजिए एक शोरूम आपने खोल दिया रांची में, राइट, या किसी सहारनपुर में। अब इन्वेस्टमेंट करोगे आपने शोरूम खोल दिया, तो आप रेंट पे लोगे कुछ हाउस बड़ा, उनको मिलेगा। वहां पे कुछ लोगों को रखोगे, उनको सैलरी दोगे, उनको मिलेगा, राइट? तो बहुत सारे लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगी तो उनका इनकम बढ़ेगा, इनकम होगा तो इनइक्वालिटी खत्म होगी। हाँ, किसका इनकम? नहीं, इन्वेस्टमेंट, आप जो 5 करोड़ रुपए आपने सेव करके रखा, वो इन्वेस्टमेंट कर दिया, राइट? इन्वेस्ट किया मतलब वो अपने के पास नहीं रहा ना, वो सर्कुलेट होता है मार्केट में। जब मार्केट में पैसा सर्कुलेट होता है, इट विल बेनिफिट, इट बेनिफिट्स टू एवरीवन। रिटर्न तो मिलेगा, लेकिन उसके साथ आपको मिलेगा ऑफ कोर्स, बट उसके साथ बहुत लोगों को भी मिलेगा ना। इट विल ट्रिकल डाउन। ऑफ कोर्स यू विल सी द ग्रोथ, इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, बट इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ विल ट्रिकल डाउन ना। मेनी पीपल, कुछ लोग दुकान खोल देंगे आपके दुकान के सामने, चाय का, पान का, उनको भी सैलरी, मतलब एम्प्लॉयमेंट हो जाएगी। जब भी एम्प्लॉयमेंट इंक्रीज होगा तो इनकम भी इंक्रीज होगा लोगों को, आसपास के लोगों का, तो पॉवर्टी का, इनइक्वालिटी कम होगी। यह है कि ग्रोथ होगा, सबका ग्रोथ होगा, इसमें आपका भी ग्रोथ होगा ऑफ कोर्स। ठीक है, एनीवे, अच्छा, एक्सपोनेंट कौन कौन है इसमें? अब मुझे न्यू लिबरलिज्म नहीं पढ़ाना है, मुझे लॉक पे पहुंचना है, लॉक नहीं, जेएसपीएल पे पहुंचना है। अच्छा, एक्सपोनेंट कौन है इनके? राइट, एफए हाइक, ये फ्रेडरिक हाइक है, ऑस्ट्रिया के इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं, फ्रेडरिक हाइक। मिल्टन फ्राइडमैन, है अमेरिकन, शिकागो यूनिवर्सिटी में ये थे। जब इंडिया इंडिपेंडेंस हुआ तो भी आए थे इंडिया में बताने कि भैया प्री मार्केट करो। एफए हाइक, मिल्टन फ्राइडमैन, रॉबर्ट नोजिक, and Rand, RAND, and AYN and Rand. ये 4-5 फिलोसफर हैं जो आपके काम आने वाले हैं. Now I will move to Jasmine. Now I taught you what is liberalism, what is modern liberals, and what is new liberals. Right? It will work. Right? It will work when I'll teach you Jasmine. I'll teach you Marx. Right? तो बताऊंगा कि मार्क्स लिबरलिज्म के खिलाफ थे. तो आपको पता तो रहना चाहिए लिबरलिज्म है क्या भाई. हाँ, लिबरलिज्म के खिलाफ थे. लिबरलिज्म है कौन? हवाई में तो बात नहीं करना है ना. आइडिया समझ में आना चाहिए कि लिबरलिज्म वाज द सपोर्टर ऑफ इंडिविजुअल प्रॉपर्टी, दे वर सपोर्टर ऑफ फ्री मार्केट, राइट, एंड दे वर सपोर्टर ऑफ लिमिटेड स्टेट या लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट. Right, now come to the Jasmine. I told you he was the son of James Mill, right, and follower of John Bentham, right? And if you look at his work, पहले इसकी किताब का नाम देख लेते हैं कुछ. इनका जो काम है, वर्क एक लिखिए, The System of Logic. सेकेंड लिखिए द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी. थर्ड इज ऑन लिबर्टी. फोर्थ, consideration on representative government. Consideration on representative government. Right. Fifth, utilitarianism. And sixth is the subjection of woman. ये सारी किताबें हमें क्या पढ़ना है? हमें ऑन लिबर्टी पढ़ना है, हमें रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गवर्नमेंट पढ़ना है, हमें यूटिलिटेरियन पढ़ना है, हमें इनके 4 टेक्स्ट पढ़ने हैं प्रिसाइजली. ठीक है, ये ऊपर के 2 टेक्स्ट नहीं पढ़ने हैं. फाइन. नाउ लेट मी टॉक अबाउट हिज वर्क ऑन यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म, because we know that what is utilitarianism. So yeah, have you done Shaba, Tarun, and IOC? The JSML works. ग्यारह बज गया क्या? ओ माय गुडनेस, ये तो टाइम ही हो गया. हाँ, वही तो, या टाइम हो गया नहीं, 11 बज गया. दूसरा क्लास भी होगा यहाँ पर. या डन. ओके, नाउ जेस मिल ऑन यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म. जेस मिल ऑन यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म. जेस मिल क्या कहता है यूटिलिटेरियन के फिलॉसफी के बारे में? Now you know the Bentham's utilitarianism, right? What Bentham talks about, right? That utilitarianism is a good idea, and everyone wants pleasure and avoid pain, right? And if you calculate this, it gives you happiness, pleasure minus pain, right? So government should work for the happiness to the greatest number, greatest happiness to the greatest number. जब से जितने ज्यादा लोगों को happiness मिल सके उतना देना चाहिए, right? And all happiness are happiness, right? All pleasure are pleasure, right? And it should not be said ki this pleasure, that pleasure. You know, he said pushpin as good as poetry, right? किसी को क्रिकेट खेलने में मजा आ रहा है, किसी को राइटिंग करने में मजा आ रहा है, both are right, both मजा है, right? Now J.S. Mill revised the idea और बोला कि you know it does not matter the pleasure but what matters the quality, right? The quality of you know pleasure matters. It's right that everyone wants to you know maximize the greatest happiness to the greatest number, right? But he said you know human beings are you know self rational, right? And they recognizes self development. They realized you know their potential for freedom and self development. Unlike animal, man has faculty of mind. Unlike animal, you know, man has faculty of mind and intellect. Animal does not have that. Animal किस पे काम करता है? Animal instinct पे काम करता है. Animal works on instinct, right? And appetite. But man has rationality, right? Now, if you look at the human being, we are civilized and we are progressing day by day. We are progressing day by day, right? So, you know, quantity does not matter, quality matters, right? And he said ki it is better to be dissatisfied human being than a satisfied pig. Okay? It is better than a dissatisfied human being than the satisfied pig. कुछ खाने को मिल जाए तो शुगर को कुछ खाने को मिल जाता है वो खा लेता है, बट नो भूखा ठीक है देन द पेट भरा कुछ भी खा लिया नहीं. And he said you know it is better to be a dissatisfied Socrates. It is better a dissatisfied Socrates than a satisfied fool. एक मूर्ख इंसान खुश है, राइट? बट वो अच्छी बात नहीं है, वो अच्छी खुशी नहीं है, राइट? उससे अच्छा तो दुखी सुकराती सही है. अगर कोई स्कॉलर है वो दुखी है अपने कंट्री के सिचुएशन से, ही इज बेटर देन अ फूल यू नो हु इज टेकिंग झंडा एंड गोइंग कि रक्षा देश बचाओ, राइट? Fine. So a dissatisfied Socrates is better than a satisfied fool. It means happiness matter, but what does matter most? Its quality. Now you look, the J.S. Mill revised the idea of Bentham, and it is said that you know the J.S. Mill was a Peter, you know, who denied his master. पीटर कौन था पता है? जो शमशी थे ना, उनके डिसिपल थे और उन्होंने रिजेक्ट कर दिया था उनके आइडिया को. रिजेक्ट किया कि नहीं किया, बट उसके सबसे अच्छे डिसिपल थे पीटर. सो जेस मिल, ही वाज द बेस्ट स्टूडेंट ऑफ द जर्मी बैंथम हु डिनाइड नो द बैंथम आइडिया. Like Aristotle denied the few idea of Socrates or Plato, right? So the Mill was a Peter that denied his master. What the idea? So that he revised the idea of you know utilitarians. What he considered most? Quality, right? And if you look at अब quality क्या है? Quality measure कर सकते हो क्या? Quality measure कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते. अब मेरी क्वालिटी कुछ और होगी, आपकी क्वालिटी कुछ और होगी, फिर कंपैरिजन कर सकते, मेजर नहीं कर सकते. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड, you know, in revising the utilitarianism, he distorted the idea of utilitarianism. ठीक है? सो ये आइडिया है, इसको मैं लिखवाऊंगा कल, इसको अच्छे से, और फिर मैं 3-4 क्वेश्चन दूंगा, आप बना के लाएंगे। या तरुण, शबा, आयुषी समझ में आया? जेस मिल ऑन यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म कल आते ही लिखवाना शुरू कर, मतलब कल शुरुआत करते ही इसको लिखवा देंगे, एंड देन आई विल मूव टू द यूटिलिटेरियन फिलॉसफी ऑन जस्टिस, right? J.S. Mill talks about some idea of justice. We'll see. So let's stop here. See you tomorrow, Tarun, Shaba, and Ayushi.